for joining us on ARC Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. Tonight we are taking a look at a handful of today's top stories. But first, porch pirates snatched Christmas gifts in Sandy. It was all caught on a doorbell camera while the victim was on vacation. 'Tis the season. The man taking the packages from the front door of the apartment tried to distort the camera using a spray bottle. You'll see this here. The victim in this case spoke to our David Ochoa earlier about what he experienced.
On vacation, have, unfortunately had some packages that we weren't going to be home for. So been on top of checking the camera every night. Woke up early yesterday morning here at 7 a.m. to check the cameras and just so happened to notice this man standing in front of my camera with a spray bottle and a bucket, and there was like water droplets on the side of the door frame. And at first I was like, oh, it's the cleaning guy, no big deal. But then as the video continued and I saw him grab those packages, I was like, okay, something's up. And then I saw him bolt, and that's when I knew that he was up to no good and seemed like he had a pretty good disguise ready for if anybody, had walked down the hall on him. And so I immediately, reached out to the Sandy Police Department, reported it, and then also notified, my management of my apartment. Unfortunately, they aren't going to have much to assist me in that. So I just wanted to immediately get that video out to the public, see if anybody recognized him, see if we could stop him before he does it to someone else, because I don't believe our facility has cameras. So I want people to protect themselves, because if it happened to me, it's happening to others. And the fact that I had a camera and that was not enough of a deterrent, really wanted me to get that video of him out there.
Yeah, it looks like he had a plan with the spray bottle, trying to, I guess, block the camera. Is that what it looks like he did?
I think I caught the tail end of him spraying, but that definitely seems like that was what he was trying to disable it or distort the image of himself, because he didn't have a mask on. So I mean, kind of dumb on his part, but I'm glad it worked out for me to get that video of him. So I mean, he succeeded but also failed. I'm just hoping the public can help me identify him, or at least get his face out there so that he stops.
It's Christmas time, right before Christmas. Were these Christmas gifts?
They were, yeah, for ourselves. We were kind of spoiling ourselves a little bit, but we thought that the camera would be enough to keep somebody away, and that wasn't the case in this circumstance, unfortunately. But we'll definitely be more careful going forward and probably find alternative ways to get our stuff.
What kind of went through your guys' minds when you saw this happening? Because I imagine it's a little surreal and just kind of a helpless feeling to watch somebody take your packages, and you're watching from across the ocean, not being able to do anything.
Absolutely. I think it was a little bit of anger, a little bit of feeling a little violated. But we feel grateful that the community has been very supportive. Obviously nothing's come of it just yet, but we're hoping with the help of social media and now the news reaching out, maybe we can get this video out there and hopefully find him or prevent him.
All right, come on, social media, do your thing. Find this pirate and send him over to Sandy PD. Porch pirates has always been a challenge, particularly around the holidays all over. Head to KUTV.com to see our past coverage and keep your packages secure by learning a few things. Oh yes, we've shown you this video a lot over the last couple of days. Viral video of a man driving his car into a Sandy car dealership, raising some questions on what rights buyers have if they want to return a vehicle. Police say the situation should never have escalated to the level you just saw in the video. The man from that video says he was unhappy with his purchase. Leslie Duarte has more.
It's been one of our top stories, an unhappy customer driving into a dealership because he wanted a refund for a car he bought as is. The dealership says the customer knew what he was getting and signed and agreed to the terms and conditions.
There's nothing promised on this vehicle, so we just are very clear about the expectation of the car. And so we went ahead with the transaction and he was happy. Several hours later, he came back in very upset.
I spoke to the director of the Utah Division of Consumer Protection.
Really understand the terms and conditions that you're agreeing to.
Katie Haas says the most important step before buying a vehicle is to know what you are buying.
What should buyers be looking out for when they make a deal like this?
If somebody is buying a car that's as is, that literally means it is as is, and it's kind of on you to take the car, maybe agree that you can take it to another dealership, have it inspected, whatever it might be, before you solidify the purchase of that vehicle.
Haas says to use a wise consumer checklist, watch for red flags, investigate, set boundaries, and examine the fine print.
People really want to follow and read the terms of that contract, make sure they're understanding what it is that they're purchasing and the terms and conditions under which they're purchasing it.
Haas says buyers should also be on the lookout for misleading selling tactics some dealerships may use, like mandating optional charges, bait and switch schemes, deceptive descriptions, and sticker shock.
Well, we want to hear from you at home. Grab your phone right now. Don't change the channel. Just pick it up and scan the QR code on your screen to vote in this poll question. What's the best way to avoid buying an unreliable used ride? Most of you say what I would have thought, actually. Get an independent inspection. 51% of you say that. Others kind of sprinkling in, check the vehicle history report, buy certified used cars. I only buy new cars or I lease my vehicle. Definitely had some work cut out for them. 90,000 acres went up in flames as crews fought nearly 1,300 fires. Many of them kept quite small, which is good. On your screen, video from some of the larger fires of the season. There was the fires out there in Marysville there, Silver King, the Little Twist fire, the big one in the Wasatch Duchesne County area late in the year. These fires, especially the Little Twist fire, was one of those that was really preventable. It was a controlled burn that just got out of hand with the conditions. So a lot of acreage went up in flames here and crews fought a lot of fires. The work doesn't stop during the winter though. Crews will be doing some controlled fire work in Draper soon, working on some burn piles there. Krista McPeak looking at how crews plan to keep the area protected.
One of the largest fires of the season burned thousands of acres near Beaver as the heat of the summer was just kicking off. The Little Twist fire was sparked by a controlled burn.
Well, we're only going to burn when the conditions are favorable.
A different scene here in Draper now, where crews will be lighting burn piles after mitigation. I have some of those fuels right here in my hand. This is what the fire department has cut down and will be burning lots of dry leaves and dry sticks and branches. Why this area right now?
The area that we're in right now, it's in close proximity to a bunch of homes, and it's a high threat area.
Parker Hansen is Draper's Wildland Fuels Crew Supervisor. With these prescribed burns, how do you make sure that they don't get out of control?
So we'll have crews in place, and like I said before, we've waited for there to be snowfall on the ground, so the vegetation isn't receptive to fire.
Hansen says crews have been working in the area for some time now, using chainsaws and going through hazardous vegetation to make sure everything is cleared. Now, it's time to burn.
And we've created defensible space around those piles, so there's no vegetation within 5 to 10 feet.
The burn will take place in the foothills of Draper at Oak Vista.
If smoke is seen in the area, we ask that you please don't report it because there's crews on the ground.
Well, we checked it out. Total of 1,259 wildfires burning more than 90,000 acres across the state of Utah in 2024, according to the interagency information from Utah Fire Info. 740 fires were human caused. The Yellow Lake fire, I just talked about that one, by far the state's largest wildfire of the year. And it was late in the season, by the way, burning more than 33,000 acres. Don't compare apples to oranges here. California always has it a lot worse than us in Utah. And the treacherous Santa Ana winds have died down. in SoCal, giving firefighters a badly needed break. It's been a pretty interesting year for fire crews there, as it typically is. Walls of fire have been tearing through Malibu's steep canyons, spreading over 6 square miles. Fire officials say those strong winds fueled the fire, which grew by nearly 40% from last night into today. More than 1,500 fire personnel working on the ground and above, trying to save homes and property. The fire began late Monday and has forced thousands of people to evacuate.
The images that I was seeing was like the closest, most dangerous, craziest looking fire I ever saw in my life. And the smell and the smoke. I mean, seeing palm trees I've seen for 10 years that are just lit like a candle.
Lit like a candle. Weather conditions forecast to continue, some improving conditions there. But low humidity, dry conditions, they've really added to the challenge containing this fire, and it's always more daunting / impressive in a way from above when you see these aerial pictures. Let's turn over to meteorologist Sean Kelly here with our first alert forecast. Fire concerns really out the window here.
Right. Snow
on the ground. It's really good conditions to burn those piles. You got to do it. It's important to reforestation and keeping our nearby communities as fire safe as possible. So kudos to the crew in Draper for getting it done right now. Conditions right now pretty pleasant.
Yeah, it's just cold out there.
Well,
freezing cold,
December,
in fact.
right?
But yeah, I mean, speaking of dry conditions, we haven't seen any rain or snow in 2 weeks officially. So we could use some snow, especially for our mountains and our ski resorts. Unfortunately, the latest models here are trending drier for storm number 1, but maybe could see a little bit of snow. We're at freezing cold right now. Winds at the north-northwest, 5 miles per hour, mainly clear skies, and through the overnight, not quite as cold as what we were dealing with yesterday, or this morning, that is. You can see those precipitation chances. They are minimal as we get into Friday. So I lowered those chances for some rain and snow. It's going to be mainly snow with storm number 1. The areas that do see it heading to Sunday, though, that will be a better chance. We'll talk about more of the timing of this and how much you could see in my first alert weather forecast.
All right, Sean, thank you very much. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, what's next in the proposal to lease land in the small town of Ivins in southern Utah to developers at a low monthly rent? We will look into this next. Welcome back now to a southern Utah story where the Utah Trust Land Administration is defending its decision to lease land in Ivins at an extremely low monthly rent. Critics and residents of Ivins say the city is prioritizing the wants of developers over the concerns of the community. Liv Kelleher looks into what's at stake.
The Trust Land Administration is a state agency tasked with generating revenue for the Utah schools by monetizing the land within the trust. They leased this 113-acre parcel of pristine desert in Ivins to a developer for just $1,200 a year or $100 a month for the duration of a 15-year development contract.
Well, that's pretty dirt cheap, isn't it?
Michael Cook is a resident of Ivins who formed a group of community members to push back on this development.
Well, that's a significant detrimental impact to the health, safety, and quality of life of everyone around here.
The plan includes what the Trust Land Administration is calling resort commercial/resort residential units. Are those considered a hotel? Are they considered a short-term rental? How are those rooms classified?
I don't think they'll be operated as a hotel. No, they will be more of a short-term rental.
I spoke with economic developer and project manager for TLA, Greg MacArthur, over the phone. I was reading in the contract that the annual lease is $1,200. Is that correct?
If you've read the lease and that's what it says, then I can confirm that it would be something. It's not a large amount.
He says they are more concerned with the back-end revenue than the holding costs. And is that how you operate all of your development projects, a fairly minimal lease agreement in interest of the back end?
No, each development project or project that we do is unique. So this is unique to other projects that we do. It's just whatever is negotiated at the time of the project.
Why was that agreed upon when it doesn't seem like it would really serve your beneficiaries at such a low price for so many years?
Well, to answer that again, the amount that a developer pays to hold the land each year is insignificant compared to the amount of the total revenues of the project when it's completed.
Cook and his group, the Defenders of Greater Ivins, are currently waiting on oral arguments at the Utah Court of Appeals, where they are challenging the city and how they conducted the motion to rezone this area. In Ivins, Liv Kelleher, KUTV 2 News.
That's an interesting one to think about. All right, meteorologist Sean Kelly here once again, taking a look at current conditions. I always ask you, what's coming down the pike here?
Yeah.
When can we get out and ski? And it seems like some things may be coming
Things
to
are
fruition.
brewing. Yeah, they're brewing. Okay. It is... I'm trying to bring us some snow. I want some
for
snow.
Next week. I want to finally hit the slopes. It's a good time to get excited.
I think the first one that arrives Friday is really going to be very, very minimal, unfortunately. It's going to be lacking moisture. I think the weekend storm is still on track to hopefully bring about 4 to 8 inches or so up into the mountains. So we'll take that. The first storm, I think just a couple inches. In Alta, maybe seeing 2 to 3 inches out of this one. Very minimal across the valleys. Right now, though, the big story here is the cold weather. It is frigid out there, and temperatures all across the state feeling the cold. It's 20 in Panguitch, 22 in Vernal, 22 in Price right now. We're at 29 in Provo, 28 in Delta. Across the country, it is fairly quiet, and at least in the middle part. Up towards the Great Lakes, we're seeing some snow showers. We've got some snow squalls out there. Look at the storm further out towards the east from the interior New England and portions down into the mid-Atlantic, seeing some of that strong winds and that rain transitioning over to snow into portions in around New England. Here at home, all eyes on our next storm out across the west coast. This will bring us a chance for at least some moisture and some snow showers here in our area. We'll start off with mainly clear skies tomorrow morning, increasing clouds into tomorrow evening, and then here is that very low chance for some scattered snow showers out there early Friday morning, continuing on until lunchtime. This is actually a new model run, and if you like snow, well, this is better to see. It looks like we could maybe see a burst of 3 to 5 hours of some light snow here along the Wasatch Front into the mountains, and that continues on and then gradually tapers off by Friday evening, with another storm moving in on Saturday night into Sunday morning. That cold front here will start off as some rain showers, then transitioning over to snow, and then look at this, storm number 3 arriving for Tuesday. So becoming a little bit more active, which is great news. That'll continue to keep the air clean. And again, as I mentioned, this is a new model run that I'm just seeing live on air, showing that we could potentially see up to that inch here in the Salt Lake City area. So that'll be nice to see. Up into the mountains, could see about 2 to 5 inches of snow with storm number 1. Storm number 2 could be even more significant than that. We're heading into the 20s as we head into the overnight here. Tomorrow, highs into the 40s, so still pretty chilly. St. George, you've got highs here into the 50s each and every day. Quiet weather as we continue your dry streak. And then along the Wasatch Front, 40s each and every day. There's that active weather here, Brian, with some chilly temperatures for next week.
All right, Sean, thank you very much. See you in just a sec here. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, when the Sundance Film Festival returns to Park City early next year, they'll have more than 80 films for screening. Details and a special guest next. All right, get this. The Sundance Film Festival just released their list of 87 films they will screen. Sundance says each one was selected for its bold, independent storytelling. Tickets go on sale January 16th at 10 a.m. Sundance will happen up in Park City from January 23rd until February 2nd. There will also be select screenings here in Salt Lake City. This could be the last Sundance in Utah. Yeah, Henry's here tonight. See you tomorrow.